I wanted to upgrade the stereo in my small work area. I've been using this 90s era Sony Boombox for years, along with this Onkyo C730 CD player. I ended up with this system over 3 phases as my needs and budget allowed. Follow along as my system evolved to its current state. First, a bit of background. I'm not an audiophile and I'm just a casual listener. I worked at Circuit City in the 90s, and at the time I purchased a Harman Kardon integrated amp, dual tape deck, and CD player with Polk audio speakers for myself using my employee discount. At the time, it fit my needs, and spending more than that had diminishing returns to my ears. This system was the sweet spot for me for price and performance. As a matter of fact, I'm still using this system in my family room. That said, a word of advice when it comes to audio, pick what fits your personal preference and budget. When it comes to this new system, it won't be for everyone, but it worked out great for me and my budget. I'll put links to the products I purchased in the description below. I primarily only listen to CDs, so I chose to keep my Onkyo C7030 and opted for the Fosi Audio ZA3 stereo amplifier and Polk Audio T15 bookshelf speakers. There's several options for the power supply. I opted for the largest 48-volt power supply. I paid $135 for this version. Fosi Audio specs this version at 180 watts by 2 at 4 ohms and 235 watts by 1 at 4 ohms. The amp can be run in either stereo or mono. My work area is pretty small, so I'm going to run it in the stereo config. If I choose to move this system into a larger room, I can always buy another ZA3 and run them in mono. And on the back, we have 2 sets of inputs, one set of balanced XLR inputs, and standard RCAs. I'm going to be using the RCAs. Sub out, the speaker outputs. We also have a remote trigger, and of course the power in. It also has great components on the inside. Japanese NCC and ELNA capacitors, replaceable op amps in case you want to fine-tune the output, and the extremely popular Texas Instruments TP3255 amp chip. For the cables, I purchased Amazon Basics RCA audio cables, banana connectors, and speaker wire. Regarding the speaker cable, it's a short run, so I opted for just regular 16-gauge cable. Nothing fancy. To set up the cables, I just cut them to the preferred length. These happen to be equal length. And then I stripped the ends. I absolutely love these Klein Tools strippers. And when it comes to the banana plugs, first thing you want to do is unscrew them. And I always considered the black solid line as the negative, so I pushed it through the plug and spread the strands evenly across the top and secure the top back on. I wanted bookshelf speakers, and I've had good experiences with Polk audio in the past, so I purchased the Polk T15s. These are extremely popular on Amazon. The T series of speakers are their value line, which works for me. They're vented two-way speakers using a 5¼ inch woofer and 3/4 inch tweeters. If needed, I can upgrade these speakers and use these as surrounds. And cabling is extremely simple. We got the CD player output going into the RCA inputs. We got the speaker cable, and we got the power in on the far right. And when it comes to the T15s, you will need to remove these covers before inserting the banana clips. The treble sounds nice and clear. The speaker description states deep bass response. That's a bit of a stretch. That said, the bass is adequate though. Let me give the speaker some time to break in, and I'll give you my final impressions. It's probably from growing up in the 80s, but I always liked the scooped sound of high bass and treble while reducing the mid-range. The ZA3 amp just didn't have a way for me to adjust these frequencies, so I dug out my old Yamaha graphic EQ and I was able to adjust the frequencies to fit my tastes. At the same time, I also wanted to add my 4th gen Amazon Echo Dot to the system. This generation still had the 3.5mm output jack. So to kill two birds with one stone, I purchased the Fosi Audio P4 mini preamp. And just like the ZA3 amp, the P4 preamp has a nice solid aluminum construction, and it also has the Fosi Audio orange knob. And in the front, we have a button to switch between the 3 RCA inputs, the treble and bass control, and of course we have the volume button. And with this preamp, we have 3 RCA inputs, 1 set of RCA outs. We do have a preamp out, which you can use to hook up to a subwoofer. If you don't want to use the tone controls in the front, you can bypass them with a flick of a switch. If needed, we also have 3 options for gain, 3, 6, and 9. And of course, we have the power input. A nice surprise was the preamp came with a remote. You can power on the unit. And it also has a motorized volume button. And if you wanted to modify the sound of the preamp, you have swappable op amps inside. I added my CD player to RCA input 1, and I was able to connect my Echo Dot using a 3.5mm to RCA cable adapter to the preamp. The sound is so much better than the tiny built-in full-range speaker in the Echo. When the bass and treble controls are at the 12 o'clock position, the sound is nice and neutral. That said, the bass and treble adjustability on the preamp was perfect. I just dialed up the bass and treble as needed. The only con that I could think of when it comes to this preamp is I wish it had a trigger output so I can turn off and on the ZA3 amp with this preamp. But for $99, I'm not going to complain. I absolutely love the flexibility the P4 preamp gives me. Now I'm able to play CDs and stream my music. Well, I guess this is phase 3 of my Fosi audio journey. So I have this spare turntable, and of course I didn't want that third RCA input on my P4 preamp to go to waste. So let's hook it up. Unfortunately, there isn't a Phono input on the P4 preamp, so we'll need to purchase a Phono preamp. First, a bit of background. This turntable does not have a built-in Phono preamp, so the audio output is extremely low. We'll need to boost that signal. Back in the day when turntables were more popular, a majority of the receivers came with Phono inputs. Unfortunately, now that they've fallen out of favor, you don't see built-in Phono inputs as often. Alternatively, some newer turntables have built-in Phono preamps. Fortunately, Fosi Audio has the X2 Phono preamp. Kind of cool. It has 2 tubes. These can be swapped out for other ones that better suit your listening tastes. We also have 3 options for gain control. I'm going to be setting mine at 42 dBs. Also, it has a 3.5-inch aux input in front. I most likely won't be using this input, but it does come with the necessary cable. And the tubes don't come installed, but the install is extremely simple. The pins are laid out so they only go in one direction. You just need to firmly press them into place. And on the back we have the power input, audio output, audio input, and a grounding post. And MM stands for moving magnet, which is perfect because my Audio-Technica Phono cartridge is of that type. Oh, this was a nice surprise. There must be LEDs or lights underneath the tubes. They have a nice blue hue to them. This Phono preamp sounds exceptionally well, especially given the $63 I paid. And paired with the P4 preamp and ZA3 amp, it's a great combination. I had no idea how much a dedicated Phono preamp would make. To my ears, this Fosi audio and Polk audio system ended up being great. Smooth and warm is how I would describe it. I absolutely love the way this budget-friendly, separate system turned out. I'm amazed at how much performance I was able to get for my money. It also gives me options to grow the system in the future as my needs and budget allows. I'll put links to the products in this video in the description below. If you found this video helpful, please click like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.